So Halo Infinite has by this point fully launched. The campaign is out, and so is the multiplayer fully by this point. Both of them have received exceptionally high scores, and it's pretty clear that the delay of a year has paid off. And by this point, I've played through the campaign a pretty decent amount. I actually beat it once on Heroic. I was playing through it earlier on Legendary for a stream. If you want to check that out, the VOD is still up on YouTube. I'm not going to be taking that down. So if you want to see how I suffered through Legendary, it's up there. But enough shilling, let's get into this video. Now, for today's video, we're going to be looking at someone whose takes have been getting hotter and hotter, and definitely dumber ever since the dislike button has been removed. As you can tell from the title, I'm going to be talking about the One Boom. Someone who, in regards to his content on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, who I used to really respect. However, in recent days, in regards to his other content regarding games like Battlefield and Halo, I've sort of lost respect for him. Especially when it comes to Halo. And recently he dropped not one but two bad takes, only one of which I'm going to be looking at, in regards to Halo Infinite. And in this video, we're going to be looking at how he decided to try and argue somehow that Call of Duty Vanguard is better than not just Halo Infinite, but also Battlefield 2042. Now, think what you want about Battlefield 2042. I personally don't like it, but I know a few people who do. But to say that Vanguard is better than Halo Infinite, a game which is being pretty much universally praised by this point for being not only a return to form, but just a really fun game overall, if you're even gonna try and say that, you gotta be fucked up. But anyways, enough ranting out of me, let's get into the video.
I have nothing to lose, I don't have any more integrity, and I'm here to tell you that Call of Duty Vanguard has won this year's FPS debacle.
Hey yo, what the fuck?!
Emotions have been high, fanboys have been outed, and most importantly, people have been disappointed.
To say that people have been disappointed with Vanguard and Battlefield 2042 thus far would be a massive understatement.
Now, some of you might think that I'm happy Vanguard won because, well, I am a huge Call of Duty shill, I'm a huge Call of Duty fanboy, but that's where you're wrong. You see, it's in my best business interest for all of these games to do well. If they do,
nobody cares. Literally, nobody cares. Like, why do you feel the need to clarify, oh, I don't want Halo to fail? Like, just get to the point. Just explain to us why it is that you think that Call of Duty Vanguard is better than both of the games. Part of me is telling me I shouldn't expect much, especially since you are a Call of Duty fanboy. It's literally all you talk about. But go off, man.
It is worth noting that all of this is subject to change. This is still in the winter of these games releasing, so there's gonna be a lot more time for these games to get fixed. Anybody telling you it's going to be at the end of their life cycles or it's going to take a year for these games to get good, likely are being pessimistic for the sake of it. Most shooters that launch in the fall see massive improvements by the end of February.
Which, in the case of Call of Duty Vanguard, is when the next game is announced. Plus, wouldn't you also be pessimistic about the future of Call of Duty? I mean, it's not like the franchise is exactly doing too hot. Like, the highest point we had in Call of Duty as of late was Modern Warfare 2019, because that game actually innovated. It was the most original Call of Duty we've had in a while, and in my opinion, the most fun. Disagree if you want, but I really think Modern Warfare 2019 was great. However, after Modern Warfare 2019, things started going downhill yet again. So I really can't see how it is that, you know, you can be optimistic in regards to Call of Duty, but not in regards to Halo.
You just gotta get the holidays out of the way because those pesky developers happen to be pesky humans who have pesky lives, pesky families, and deserve those pesky vacation days.
What the fuck does that have to do with whether Vanguard is the best game or not? It's not about if the developers have vacation or not. What matters is the product we have a good product?
So, Vanguard, for all of its faults, unfortunately, is a complete product, with many avenues for progression and a ton of multiplayer content to jump into. And, if any of you Halo and Battlefield fans are playing the wait-and-see game, I will say the same thing about Vanguard, if we're making that argument. Because the zombies mode in Vanguard is so bad that most people don't want it. In fact, I will go as far as to say, and I will make this more clear in my dedicated Zombies rant video, that it's a game mode for nobody. But, I mean, if I have to wait and see for Battlefield, wait and see for Halo, then wait and see for Vanguard Zombies.
So, in one of his earlier videos regarding Halo Infinite, he basically tried to bash the game for not having shit completed at launch, which, to be fair, the multiplayer is kind of unfinished, namely in regards to how many maps and modes it has. For context, unless I'm mistaken, there's only like, what, 5 maps? Of course, I could be mistaken there, but there's not a lot of maps, and there's not a lot of modes. To be fair though, 343 is slowly patching them in. However, in this case, he uses the same defense that I just used right there for Vanguard, but refuses to apply that same argument to Infinite and Battlefield. Now, as for Battlefield, I don't really care. I'm gonna wait about like 6 months, as one does with a Battlefield game. But with Halo, the core gameplay is enough to keep me coming back. And on top of it, the general reception to Infinite has been mostly positive.
In the meantime, you have a traditional action-packed, dumb action movie, sort of 5 to 10 hour campaign with Vanguard, and it's of course very loaded, juicy multiplayer, with now 19 traditional multiplayer maps on offer. Then you have around 40 weapons, each with around 60 to 70 levels each. Perks, equipment, field upgrades, the customization at your fingertips is immense, and the variety between the maps is immense. I mean, this is getting a little bit subjective, but this is how I talk when I'm uninhibited. Call of Duty is at its best when it has a variety of experiences. Call of Duty's moment-to-moment gunplay is boring and simplistic if you just look at it by itself.
So basically what you're saying is that even if the content itself isn't fun to play, a game is better because there's more of it. Here's the thing, if Vanguard was fun and innovated on the Call of Duty formula, kind of like Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 2019 did, then I definitely understand where you're coming from. However, when you yourself admit that the gameplay of Vanguard is simplistic and boring, it just completely contradicts your entire argument. Now, in this next bit, I'm just going to cut out some of his footage since he talks a bit more about Vanguard and maps, and then decides to talk a bit about Battlefield 2042, and is, in my opinion, pretty hypocritical in regards to logic he uses.
Now in comparison, let's talk about Battlefield in 2042. Battlefield 2042 delivered 3 half-assed products in the form of All-Out Warfare, Portal, and Hazard Zone. It's a shell of a Battlefield game. It feels more like generic shooter number 326.
So it feels like the Call of Duty franchise.
Remember when Battlefield 3 blew Bad Company out of the water and 4 blew Battlefield 3 out of the water in terms of, you know, scope and scale and intention?
Mate, all I remember about BF3 and BF4 is that they both had insanely buggy launches. Neither game blew the previous out of the water until 6 months after release, when the games were patched and successfully fixed. Stop trying to spread misinformation in order to further your argument. It won't get you anywhere.
Halo Infinite, on the other hand, has very solid gameplay, but it suffers from not being a definitive version of itself. Missing a multitude of features, using a battle pass as its sole form of progression that you have to buy into to get any decent amount of content from, and handling its incredibly fun campaign as more of a Part 1 situation that will likely be fleshed out properly down the line with free updates and DLC.
While I do agree that Halo Infinite's content amount is pretty lacking, I also don't think it's fair to say that it's not a definitive Halo experience because it has a fucking battle pass. And on top of it, to complain that the campaign is setting up free DLCs, when it actually sets it up in a pretty good way with its ending, I'm not going to state what happened there because spoilers. But to complain that it's setting up future DLC is pretty stupid, especially when it actually sets up the DLC well with its ending.
Halo Infinite's campaign is one of the best shooter experiences I've had in a while. It's just a damn shame that it's like 1/4 of what I would expect a campaign like this to be. I'm not worried about saying any spoilers because, honest to God, there's nothing to spoil. So Battlefield 2042 is undergoing crisis, Halo Infinite is a collection of promises yet to be kept, and Vanguard is undeniably Call of Duty.
Ah, so Vanguard is undeniably a game that's loathed by its own fanbase. Gotcha.
Yet people seem uninterested. That's fair. Call of Duty can't simply grab our attention every year the same way, and that's too tall of an order for any dev team or publisher. Also, right now it's hard to sell people on the World War II theme, especially when, it's treading an odd line between fiction and realism. The universe and story are completely fictional, kind of like Black Ops 1's, but it's, not like a full steampunk Wolfenstein deal, so a lot of the aesthetics and customization bother people. I get it, authenticity's cool, but if I start playing Call of Duty for authenticity now, you might as well just go ahead and shoot me.
Okay, in all honesty, I do find it funny when people try to argue authenticity is a big deal when it comes to fucking Call of Duty of all games. Like, I agree, authenticity is kinda important, but Vanguard didn't really promise authenticity. However, that's not the thing that people are complaining about in this scenario. People are upset about the fact that it's literally not an interesting game.
Now, while some people are blowing all of the launch issues out of proportion, I think most rational people that have played, AAA shooters over the last 10 years are waiting for the wrinkles to be ironed out over time, as long as that time isn't too long. Again, people seem to think when I say this, I'm saying it's okay if developers release half-assed broken products.
Fuck, kill me, please.
My man, I hate to break it to you, but that's literally exactly one of the things you said. You tried dismissing the issues that people had with zombies by saying, I'm sure it'll get better, but then refused to extend the same courtesy to Battlefield 2042 and Halo Infinite. So pretty much, it only seems like you favor broken products when it's Call of Duty.
I get that. And in that case, Battlefield 2042 is far buggier than Vanguard, and Infinite is way less complete than Vanguard. So as much as it pains me to say this, and you don't have to believe me that it does, Vanguard wins.
Oh, believe me, I'm not inclined to believe you. Especially since you're a Call of Duty fanboy channel. And also considering that you have a clear bias against Halo and Battlefield and anything that's not Call of Duty in this scenario, I am less inclined to believe you.
Because if one game is making a bunch of promises that have yet to be kept yet, and the other one is a broken shell of its former self. So Vanguard, while it does have bugs and glitches, it's like, the challenges don't track, it's got a couple technical bugs, some things were causing crashes, but I keep seeing the patches roll out, and by February, I don't see Vanguard being a problem.
By February, I don't even see Vanguard being relevant. Because by that point, hype for the next Call of Duty, which is Modern Warfare 2, will probably be building up. And also, the damage control here is insanely funny, how he tries to excuse the buggy state of Vanguard. In that regard, it is honestly no better than Battlefield 2042, and both are buggy messes. Meanwhile, in the case of Halo Infinite, they're listening to feedback and paying attention to what it is that fans want. As evidenced by them patching in Team Slayer and fixing certain modes and the progression of the Battle Pass, I'd say Halo Infinite has definitely improved, and will presumably keep doing so.
Like, my technical issues with Cold War kind of ended around end of January, beginning of February. Same goes for Modern Warfare. All the weird crashes, hitches, or performance problems I had were gone by around February.
And my issues with running Infinite were mostly resolved by the time December 8th rolled around and are still being resolved. What's your point here? And while I agree that it's definitely good for Vanguard to get fixed, to set up this expectation for solely Vanguard, and I feel like a broken record saying this, and to not extend that same courtesy to Battlefield 2042 or Halo Infinite, it's just pretty stupid to me. Not to mention, also hypocritical.
Yes, both those games still have bugs, but so does every game in my library.
Now, while I'll admit, buggy launches are definitely something that doesn't really matter too much to me, especially depending on the nature of the bugs, it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense that you would dismiss every single criticism about the game by saying, you know what, other games have buggy launches as well, just like everything in my library. It's especially more hypocritical when you consider that he called Battlefield 2042 a broken mess. The logic here just doesn't add up. How can you call one game a broken mess, but then excuse the broken launch of another game? Fanboyism at its finest.
But the problem is that whether or not Vanguard is winning right now is kind of a shallow victory. It won't be around in a year. This time next year, we'll be playing the next COD game, and by that point, 2042 and Infinite could be in a seriously good state, with a solid player base, good support, and a ton of content.
Who's to say that Infinite doesn't already have the player base? Oh right, you. Because you don't want to acknowledge that it does have one.
I don't agree with EA and Ubisoft's idea of games as a service. I don't like Halo being a free-to-play ecosystem versus a definitive packed product. But Call of Duty can, hold off a year? Like, just give us a Call of Duty for 2 years. Give us 12 seasons instead of 6. Give us more time to enjoy things, because it's kind of shallow to unlock and progress and grind games that won't be relevant in the next 10 months or so.
So what you're telling me is that Halo Infinite is supposedly bad because it's free to play. You heard it here, guys. Apparently having your game be free to play for the multiplayer section is a bad thing, and doesn't make your game Halo because you have a fucking battle pass. Developers, take note of this and never ever make your game free to play or have a battle pass ever again. Not profitable to the One Boom's needs. Also, you gotta love how earlier he was praising the fact that the game had a progression system, but then proceeds to admit that the progression system is extremely shallow in nature and just not fun.
The most fun I have had in a long time goes to Halo Infinite's campaign, but Vanguard's no slouch. It's just that pretty soon it's gonna wear thin. It's not designed to keep me occupied for longer than around 8 months or so.
So, right here, you literally admit that Vanguard is not going to hold your attention, because that's not what it's designed for. Whereas Halo Infinite is going to be updated for about 10 years by this point. I don't really understand that model, as it makes it clear they're trying to compete with Destiny in regards to its model. But overall, I don't think it's a bad model. I think they've got the right idea going for him. They definitely want to keep player interest for as long as they can. As for Battlefield, I don't know their plan. I don't even know what they're fucking planning.
Then you have to look to the future. After a year of playing Vanguard, will anybody really be as hyped as they would have been for the next Modern Warfare, compared to there just not being a Call of Duty at all?
No, fuck off.
I mean, I'm enjoying Vanguard right now, but part of me kind of wants to stop playing it towards the end of summer so I can get back in the Call of Duty headspace, so I don't go into Modern Warfare burnt on all of the shenanigans that come with playing Call of Duty. I like to play multiple FPS games, so just playing a Twitch shooter with a fast time to kill that's highly customizable, yeah, that's fun for me, but I don't want to be burnt on the Call of Duty formula when the next COD comes out, and that's a likely scenario, and I think that's kind of what's happening right now with Vanguard.
Well, no fucking shit.
I think people are sort of burnt. Vanguard is like Infinite Warfare. Not inherently a bad game, but the two games before it are kinda similar. Not identical, but similar enough to kind of make you go, do I want more of that? And then its time period isn't exactly the most desirable on the market right now. So, Vanguard wins, but it's a short-lived victory.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Where is it a victory for Vanguard? Like, unless I'm mistaken, Vanguard is nowhere near the victor in this scenario. And also, you literally compared Vanguard to fucking Infinite Warfare of all COD games, and said that it's sort of in the same boat as Infinite Warfare, but also hail it as the best game, as in the best game of 2021. Anyways, that's all I can take for tonight. I'm going to bed. It's like fucking 4 AM. Well, hope you guys enjoyed my first upload in literal weeks. Well, my first real upload, not counting the streams and shit posts I do. Have a great night, or day, or whatever the fuck. I don't know anymore. Just get me out of here. Goodbye.
BRB, gonna go bash my head into the fucking wall!